Coming up on Spartan Sports Report, Michigan State hockey looked to take down the #1 team in the country. Men's basketball hosted a top 10 matchup at the Breslin Center, and the women's basketball team continued Big Ten play.
Hello and welcome into this all-new episode of Spartan Sports Report. I'm Maddie Warden.
And I'm Josh Lee. Maddie, it's been an outstanding week of sports. Start of the Winter Olympics, Super Bowl, former MSU alumni was named Super Bowl MVP, and MSU played in some top 10 matchups.
Absolutely, Josh. Big weekend for Kenneth Walker and Michigan State football fans. Very exciting, action-packed week. We even had a big rivalry weekend which took place down I-96 between the two best college hockey teams in the nation. #2 Michigan State men's ice hockey team traveled to Ann Arbor for its final series against the #1 Michigan Wolverines. After splitting their first series, the Spartans were battling for the first place position in the Big Ten standings. It wasn't until 15 minutes into the game that Porter Martone was able to find Charlie Stramel for an easy goal against Michigan's goaltender Stephen Peck. Entering the second with a 1-1 tie, back and forth action continued for much of the period. Shane Van Sage was able to find the back of the net with a Wolverine trailing close behind. Stramel notched his second point of the night with a pass to Owen West, who fired a shot from the slot past the glove of Peck. Wolverines came clawing back in the third period with a pair of goals from Asher Barnett and Keenan Draper, sending the game to overtime. Tripping call against Eric Nilsson allowed Michigan to find its rhythm and Jaden Perron to complete the comeback and defeat the Spartans 4-3. Looking to redeem themselves from the overtime loss, the Spartans headed to Little Caesars Arena to get a second shot at their in-state rival. Wolverines came out with a surprise with the return of goalie Jack Ivankovic back in the net much earlier than expected. The green and white gave Ivankovic a warm welcome, firing with this quick shot and score from Gavin O'Connell to put MSU on the board first. Later in the first period, a Spartan power play would make room for an extra man goal by Martone to put MSU up 2-0. Green and white would take that lead into the break and add two more in the second period with shots from Stramel and Tiernan Chowdy, increasing the lead to 4-0. Wolverines following Friday night's comeback, scoring back-to-back goals, cutting the Spartans' lead to 2, but late in the third, an empty net from Michigan would quickly backfire as Tommy Manisto put the nail in the coffin for the green and white to cement MSU's 5-2 victory. Iron D Trophy was lifted by MSU for the third straight year, and Michigan State would earn its spot back in front in both the USCHO and USA Hockey rankings. The now #1 ranked Spartans have 3 series remaining in the regular season and look to face Notre Dame at home on February 19th.
Following a loss against rival then #3 Michigan, #10 Michigan State men's basketball traveled to the Twin Cities, taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. MSU trailed from the start, falling behind by as many as 16 points in the game. A late comeback push was led by junior forward Cohen Carr, who scored 9 straight points, and senior guard Trey Fort, who hit a pair of late threes to make it a 2-point game. However, the late effort wouldn't be enough as the Spartans would lose their second consecutive game, 76-73. MSU was vying to bounce back from its disappointing outing against the Gophers in a top 10 showdown against the #5 Illinois Fighting Illini. Neither side was able to gain a significant amount of momentum early on until Cam Ward took flight with this poster jam, sending the Izzone into a frenzy. With just under a minute remaining in the first half, the Jeremy Fears to Carr connection was in full effect as Fears found Carr elevated for this reverse dunk, giving the Spartans some momentum headed into halftime. Despite the Illini freshman star Keaton Wagler being held in check, going 2 for 16 from the field, David Murkovich picked up the slack for Illinois, leading the Illini with 18 points on the night. Murkovich's performance gave Illinois a 1-point advantage with under a minute left in regulation. However, Kurt Tang wouldn't let MSU go away quietly, nailed this second chance 3-ball to turn the tide, putting the green and white up 2 with 8 seconds remaining. Illinois' Jake Davis responded as he drilled 2 free throws on the other side, sending the game to overtime. During the bonus basketball period, Fears took over, notching 11 points in OT. Fears' efforts solidified an 85-82 Spartan victory over the Illini. Head coach Tom Izzo was thankful for fan support and emphasized the effect the MSU faithful had on the game.
I'm the luckiest human being on the planet to have fans like we have. I mean, they lit the place up. And believe it or not, it makes a big
MSU will look to build off this victory on the road against the Wisconsin Badgers this Friday, February 13th at 8 p.m.
Number 11 Michigan State Gymnastics traveled to Happy Valley where it faced the number 14 Penn State Nittany Lions on Sunday. Making her first lineup appearance in the green and white redshirt, sophomore Ratasha Halsell led off with a 9.725 on vault. Junior Emma Meisenheimer made her first beam appearance of the year and captured a 9.825. Senior Nikki Smith was crowned her first all-around title of the season where she scored a 39.550. Spartans went on to defeat the Nittany Lions 197.125 to 196.725 for their second highest score of 2026. MSU hosts Maryland this Sunday inside Jennison Fieldhouse for a National Girls and Women in Sports Day celebration.
The MSU women's tennis team looked to keep its undefeated start intact as it took on Gonzaga and Ball State in a doubleheader Sunday. After claiming its victory over the Zags, MSU had Ball State left to take care of. The match opened with doubles serving first, and Sparty would take the first match behind the rackets of Ellie Blackford and Matilde Morais with a comfortable 6-1 victory. But Ball State would answer with a dub of its own, 6-3. It would come down to a third match where MSU would fall 7-5. Now up to singles, the Spartans would open up with 3 straight wins, Amara Brambot, Blackford, and Oriana Parkins-Godwin being the victors. Ball State would get a point back, but it would be Morais finishing the job in singles and a 4-2 win for the green and white. The Spartans start 5-0 for the first time since 2018 and will head to the Big Apple to face Princeton and Columbia. The men's tennis team's matchup on Friday against Tennessee was canceled. The Spartans will next compete on February 15th when they head down to Nashville to take on Vanderbilt.
The 12th ranked Michigan State women's basketball team started its week playing host to the number 22 ranked Maryland Terrapins on Wednesday. Both teams entered the night coming off home losses to conference foes looking to get back in the win column. Spartans kept it even in the first quarter with defensive aggression leading to steals like this one from Kennedy Blair for an easy layup. However, the green and white couldn't keep up the momentum as turnovers of their own started to pile up. Spartans ended the half with 11 giveaways. UMD started to pull away in the second half as it got hot from 3. This shot from Yarden Garzone helped extend the Terps' lead to as much as 19 points in the third quarter. Grace Van Sluten led the charge, ending the night with a near double-double, helping MSU make its move to fight back, but its efforts fell short as the Terps' star power was too much. Oluchi Okanawa imposed herself late to secure the victory for the Terps with a team-high 23 points. Maryland claimed the ranked victory over MSU 86-70, snapping a 4-game losing streak. Coach Robin Freilich and Van Sluten expressed their disappointment post-game.
For me personally, it was the most disappointing game of the season. I thought we were missing teamness, toughness on both sides of the ball.
I mean, yeah, we literally just couldn't get a stop. You know, they were just scoring over us, hitting threes, not getting rebounds, and yeah, just pretty poor performance all overall.
The team dropped to number 13 in the polls and traveled to University Park to compete against Penn State. MSU came out hot with Van Sluten and Blair scoring 4 points each in the first 10 minutes of the game, but Penn State put up a fight and held its lead heading into the half. Spartans struggled to tighten the gap, but in the third, MSU finally came back to take its first lead since the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. Green and white never looked back and ended the game with an 81-70 win. MSU will return home to take on number 2 UCLA on Wednesday, February 11th at 8 p.m. in the Breslin Center.
Michigan State softball took the field for the first time in 2026 for the NFCA Leadoff Classic in Clearwater, Florida. The Spartans won 4 of the 5 games they played, highlighted by a statement victory, defeating the number 13 ranked Clemson Tigers 5-2 in their final game of the weekend. MSU will look to build on its best start since 2016 as it travels to Charlotte, North Carolina for the Queen City Classic starting this Friday.
The track and field team marched down to Ann Arbor this past weekend for its annual Michigan Invitational. Grad student Logan Allen set a meet record of 7.79 seconds in the men's 60-meter hurdles in just the first event of the meet. The green and white fired on all cylinders. Junior Xavier Griffiths finished first in the men's weight throw, and grad student Elle Adrian finished first in the women's category, earning a personal best at 22.15 meters. Sophomore Cameron Cheatham added to the Spartan record books, recording the 4th best time in school history in the men's 60 meter with a mark of 6.77. After capturing 6 first-place finishes at the Invite, Spartans will head down to Indianapolis for the Heartland Invitational this weekend.
After picking up its first win in conference play this season, Michigan State men's wrestling faced a tall task against the number 8 ranked Iowa Hawkeyes. The Spartans would start off ice cold as Iowa's number 6 ranked Dean Peterson won by major decision against Nick Corday for the 125-pound weight class. MSU would watch its next 3 wrestlers lose by tech fall. The only Spartan that came close to getting the green and white back in the match was Darius Marinez at the 157-pound weight class. Marinez would be the only Spartan to get within 4 points of an Iowa wrestler, as he would fall by decision 7-3 to Victor Voinovich III. MSU would lose all 9 matches out of its 10 outside of the 197-pound weight class, as Cale Whistler's opponent would forfeit, giving MSU its only points of the match. The Spartans would fall 40-6 to the top 10 ranked Hawkeyes and prepare for their next contest against Rutgers this Friday at Jennison Fieldhouse.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Spartan Sports Report.
For more content, make sure to check out the Spartan Newsroom website as well as all of our social medias below. I'm Josh Lee.
And I'm Maddie Warden. We'll see you next week.